But
Boom.
right. So we got enough room here.
Yep.
Oh, we already got one person on.
Already on.
Fix this a little bit.
Get everything pulled up.
Yeah, hopefully they can hear us. Yep. Testing. Yep, I think we're getting good sound.
I'm gonna grab some lunch.
Don't do it that way.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna grab some lunch, Jim.
All right. Okay. Thank you. If somebody tell John to come in. If somebody comes in, somebody needs to be here. All right. All right, folks. Looks like we got a few people.
Cool.
Maybe. What are they? 120? No. Doesn't tell me.
That's all right. Looks like
there we go.
You got two or three. That's all right. Yep.
Hey, Mary Beth. Hopefully we got a few more up here.
Yep.
We still got one more minute, so we'll get going here shortly.
Well, it's fun. We need some intro music.
Yeah, we do.
For next year or something.
How about
picking up something good? AC/DC?
No.
Well, I was.
There we go. Little intro music.
There we go. Don't play more than 15 seconds of it because YouTube might shut it down.
I'll get copyrighted. All right, how's that, folks? All right, we only have 2 people joining us right now, but I'm sure we'll get a few more here. All right, that's it.
Yep.
All right, it is 12 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Actually, let me post something on my Facebook page here just to see.
Well, while he's doing that, if you want to, routes are posted on the badastra.com, our website. Go check it out. There's a page there that has all 3 routes for this year, and we'll talk about those routes here in a little bit. But they are up and ready to go on our webpage. We'll post links to them in our Facebook and some social media stuff after we're done with the video. But they are ready to go. They are live. And I know somebody every year asks the actual distances. So for the Bad Astra, it's 101.1 miles. For the Half Astra, it's 53.7. And for the party pace is right at 25.2. So your party pace is almost spot on again. It's very similar to the route last year for the party pace, but the other 2 are completely new rides. I'm kind of excited about them. One thing that you'll notice if you're doing the 50 and the 100, you get to experience Chippewa Hill or the Hill of Doom, depending on where you're from. But you get to experience that right at mile 8. So you go from 900 feet and then you climb straight up to 1,134 feet. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
In a manner of about a mile and a half ish. But that's right at the beginning.
Well,
then,
let's talk about that. So
okay,
let's actually start. Let's start from the beginning. So we've got a couple people joining us, but some folks might tune into this if they're thinking about doing the Bad Astra. Maybe it's their first time. So let's just start from the beginning and talk about the whole event, and then we'll go through each route and talk about the specifics of each route. But so I'm here with Jeremiah, and he's the race director for the Bad Astra. This is the 3rd year that he's organized this event, and every single year it just keeps getting bigger and better, and they keep adding new things. And the one thing I really like about this is that the route is completely different each year,
Yeah.
right? So we started the first year with that kind of a figure 8 route. Last year you went to a full loop. This year you've got a brand new loop, new roads, new features, new all of that. But you did keep some of the same big hills and those
Some of
kinds of
them.
things. So there's a lot of new stuff. So if
Yeah.
you've ridden it before, you're gonna have a great time riding it again. We got a 25-mile route, a 50-mile route called the Half Astra, and then the 100-mile race called the Bad Astra. So, Jeremiah, before we get started, you rode the entire route last week, right? Or actually
2 weeks ago.
2
For
weeks
the 100,
ago.
2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
then the 50 was last week.
Okay, so what can you say, just kind of overall, what were you trying to achieve with the new routes this year? What kind of new things were you trying to introduce? And just give everybody a little overview of what you tried to accomplish in putting this new route together.
Well, with this new route, while there are more, I guess, significant hills or steeper hills, there's actually about 1,000 less feet of climbing than there was last year. Our goal is we want as many people as possible to finish.
Yeah.
While it is cool to have podiums and stuff like that, that's just your top 3, which is not a great deal of basically everybody else who's riding, which is fine. But we want you to finish, and so we do have SAG points. I've had several emails and things like that asking about if you could, if there were SAGs, if you could have a drop bag somewhere, things like that. If you're doing the 100, the 50, or the 25, any of the distances, there's at least one aid station along the way. Because again, the purpose of why we're doing this is one, to get you on your bike, get you out riding in Kansas. You will find out very quickly if you own a bicycle that Kansas is not flat, even though people think it is. But get you out there, and obviously to have fun.
Yeah.
But
on the let's go through the aid station right now. So on the 100-mile, you have how many aid stations?
On the 100-mile, we have 3 aid stations. Okay. The first one is right at mile 30. The second one is right at mile 54-ish, which is also this is the same aid station that we had last year. It's in the Casey's parking lot in Pomona. But then it's different before and after that. But then the last one is right at mile 89, 90-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But that last aid station is actually where the 100 and the 50 come back together. And then the last about 10 miles of the route is the same for both the 50 and the 100-mile route.
So on the 50 or on the 100, the first aid station, last aid station, those are just kind of neutral. You're going to have water and snacks there, right? And then the middle aid station is at the Casey's. So you can take advantage of the water and the snacks there, but you also have a Casey's. You can go in and get whatever the heck you want. And they love having the cyclists come in and get stuff. So.
Yeah, we talked to them a few weeks ago. They're prepared with some extra pizzas and stuff like that. And they're expecting a few people to be coming in that day.
Yeah. So make sure you plan for that. The people that are racing the race are just going to blow through those aid stations probably real fast. But if you're a casual rider and you just want to have fun, you got plenty of opportunity to stop, get fueled up, and enjoy the rest of the race. So I really like the fact that you've got plenty of support there. On the 50, then 2 aid stations, correct?
Correct. On the 50, you've got 2 aid stations. The first one is actually the one in Pomona
at the Casey's.
And then the last one is at mile 45.
Yeah, so you're going to share the second aid. Well, you're going to share both aid stations.
Or sorry, not 45.
With the 100-mile riders, right? So there's going to be a lot of interaction between the 50-mile riders and the 100-mile riders, which is great for everyone. You might see the lead pack blowing past you if you're riding the 50.
Right.
So I like the way you've kind of combined the two, so that the groups get to ride together quite a bit.
Yeah, you do ride about I'm going to say about 20 miles. 20 to 25 miles of the 25 or the 50 and the 100 are actually on the same roads.
Okay.
So you are going to want to find some way of navigation, whether you use our links and you download the cue sheets or something like that, or you have a GPS or your phone. There will be flags that will mark most of the trail, but again, it is Kansas, and like last year we had one of our directional signs chewed up by a county mower, but things happen.
Yeah, make sure you download the routes if you can, and just look for the tire tracks if you get lost.
There you go.
There are a few busy intersections, and
Correct.
you've marked those on the maps. So
we've marked
be careful
several.
There. Yeah.
Now, obviously, we marked the ones that we felt were a little bit more. Usually, when you're crossing a paved road, The ones that are marked are when you're crossing a relatively busy paved road or potentially busy paved road. Obviously, still, if you have a stop sign, you still need to stop and follow the rules of the road, because that's the other thing. We really don't want anybody getting hurt or anything like that. But
yeah,
you're smart.
Yeah. The other thing to note on all the routes is that we're using the ride with GPS data, which isn't necessarily 100% accurate in terms of pavement versus non. So,
right.
If you just look at the routes, it's going to show a lot more pavement than there actually is. In fact, most of the route is gravel. There's not a lot of pavement. There is some, but there's not a lot of pavement. So ignore the ride with GPS data on that, and just assume that most of the route is going to be gravel. So prepare for that.
And for both the 50 and the 100, both parts of the route that are paved, that you will be riding on, that's not inside of auto city limits, is chip seal.
Yeah.
So it's not great pavement, but it's better. I mean,
yeah.
And once you've been, rocked around a little bit by some gravel, the chip seal will feel fine. But but most of it is, the grand majority of this. All three of these routes are gravel.
Yeah. I know in previous years, the unmaintained fire roads were a huge hit. Do we have any of those this year?
With the 100, we've got a couple of them. With the 50, we have one.
Okay.
It's still going to be a quicker. I'm expecting quicker times this year than last year overall, because there aren't as many large sections. So last year, especially on the 100, I loved it. There was a climb that was also a rock garden, which made it interesting for some riders. Some people didn't like it, but that's okay. It's part of these adventure races, adventure gravel races.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not comfortable riding on that rough terrain, especially if we get any rain ahead of time, it'll be muddy. Yeah. You can just get off and walk. They're not long sections, so it's certainly walkable. But most people will bomb through it and have a great time. So we'll talk about the 25-mile in a little bit, but before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the hills, and especially the first hill.
All right.
So there are quite a few hills on both routes, not as many as last year, but the first hill is kind of a special place for us. We call it the Hill of Doom, and it's 8 miles into all three routes, right?
Just the 50 and the 100.
50 and the 100. Okay, so 8 miles into the 50 and the 100, you're going to hit the Hill of Doom. It's the steepest. It's not the highest elevation on the route, but it's the steepest hill.
16% grade.
16% grade, right? And it's a long, uphill climb. A lot of fun, and you've got a great downhill following that. But one of the things that we're going to do, we did this the first year. I don't remember if we did it last year, but we, in order to make the first 8 miles of the race interesting this year, we are going to offer awards for the first male and female 100-mile riders to reach the peak of that hill, and also awards for the first male and female 50-mile riders to reach that hill. So you're going to get an auto and give people something to look forward to there.
Yep.
We'll have a little marker up there, and we'll hopefully keep track of who's coming through and award those. So something to look forward to if you're get to that point. If you're one of
these lovely medals for you. I say metal. It's actually wood, but it's, I don't know. I think they're cool.
They're very.
They turned out a whole lot better than I thought they would. But they're really cool. So you've got that going for you.
And that's everybody party pace.
Everybody that comes crosses the finish line.
That's awesome.
We've got some other stuff. I know we've got some Wolf Tooth stuff to give out. We've got some more Gooder sunglasses again to give out. That's not for everybody because those are limited things that they send us, but there will be some things that everybody will get. Limit, which is one of our nutrition sponsors, so everybody will get some Limit powder mix for your water. If you're not used to salt-based instead of sugar-based, it is a shock, but I like it. I've used it the last couple of times. I like it more than the sugar-based, but that's, I guess, to each their own. But we've got a lot of different things going on with that. Both 50, 100, and the 25 will get different things for that.
Okay. I guess one other thing I wanted to point out on this is that it is a race, but I would say a majority of the people, maybe, I don't know what percentage, but maybe 80% of the people are there to just have fun, right?
Yeah.
So if you are a little bit intimidated by doing a race, don't be.
Oh yeah.
Come out, especially ride the 50. If you're going to see some beautiful roads you may not have ridden before. I mean, some of these roads we don't cover on our regular group rides. So this is going to be new for anyone. So if don't be intimidated, sign up, come out. It's a lot of fun. It's almost like a big group ride if you're not at the pointy end of the race. And you're going to have a great time, especially if you are riding the party pace, right? So let's talk about that now. So every year we've had this 25-mile route. They call it the party pace. It's not a race. It's just a group ride. Correct. A lot of fun. It starts a little bit after the other two routes take off, right? So you're not going to have to worry about fast riders passing or anything like that. You're just going to go out and have a great time. You get to visit the Hill of Doom, right? No, they're not doing the Hill of Doom. Base. And okay, so you're actually taking them out on the trail.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little
for
bit.
The party pace. It's very similar to what it was last year. You will take the Flint Hills Trail all the way out to Pomona, and then you will come back on gravel roads. If you look at the profile of that race, obviously the first half of it is relatively flat, but as soon as you go past halfway is when you get to experience the climbing and stuff like that. We did have a couple of detours. Well, I guess we had a detour for all three routes this year because they're redoing a bridge out there, and so the road doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we had to come back into town a slightly different way than we have in the past. But again, it's coming back. Basically, your last hill is going over the trains north of town, and then you get to ride pavement all the way into town, and then across the bridge over here, and then through the finish line.
Yeah.
But that's the same for all three routes. But the 50 and the 100, they will start planning on having them start at 8:00 on Saturday morning. That way, it's not super early. You do have 100-mile people. You do have 12 hours to finish that. Unless you have probably got a mechanical or something like that, I don't see. I mean, probably not a lot of people will have to take that long, which is fine. That's okay. But those two start together, and then the party pace starts at 8:30.
Yeah.
The party pace goes directly onto the trail, so we won't need a police escort for them or anything like that. But it is this trail, so it's still going to be a safe ride.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing.
And you're going to use the second checkpoint at Pomona Lake. So you're going to you'll get to Pomona. I'm sorry. You're going to encounter some of the other racers coming through.
Yeah.
You get to, you're going to be able to hang out at the Casey's for a little bit if you want. So yeah, I like the way you've done that. So that would be anybody who's just wanting to get out and ride 25 miles. It's going to be there'll be a big group. You won't be riding alone, and definitely encourage everyone to come out and experience the day. I mean, part of what we're trying to do with this race is to get people to see not just the trails that we have around Ottawa, but all the great gravel roads, and come to Ottawa, see what's going on here. Check out Not Lost Brewing Company. Check out Ottawa Bike and Trail. Check out our beautiful Main Street. Hopefully visit some of the downtown shops when you come down. And it's grown into a really big community event, and we're hoping to make it bigger every year. So encourage everybody to come out. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about the race?
I do know. So after the race, obviously those glasses will be available once you finish at Not Lost Brewery. But then also before the race, here at Legacy Square, our friends over at Corner Market are going to be supplying coffee and before the race if you need your cup of coffee, if you forget to do that.
Yeah.
So we do have a few things that are trying to be as helpful as we can to the riders. And so, the community is starting to get behind it, and that's kind of fun to see.
Yeah. And there'll be some surprises out there. We're not going to reveal everything. There's a couple, there's always a few surprises. So come out and check all of that out. So before we wrap this up, I did have one thing I wanted to let you know about. We're doing this Thursday night, which is the Thursday before the Bad Astra. We're doing our solar lunar ride. That ride is become kind of a tradition. We do it every spring and fall to celebrate the change of seasons. And the unique thing about this group ride is that we have a group riding from Ottawa out to on the Flint Hills Trail east to the bridge just west of Rantoul. And then we have another group starting in Osawatomie coming this way. So we all meet up at the bridge. It's always a great time. So if you want a warm up for the Bad Astra, that'd be a good way to join us and loosen your legs up before the big race. So I wanted to let everybody know about that. You'll see the information on our Facebook page. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up? Do we have any last minute questions from anybody who's on the live feed? Doesn't look like we do. No. Last chance. Do you have anything else you want to bring up?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next weekend. Let's hope for good weather, and make sure you get registered. And if you have any questions, as Jeremiah said, let the contact the ride, or you can stop in or call us at the store, and we'll hopefully be able to answer any questions you have. But thank you for joining us for this live stream. I really appreciate it. And man, I can't wait till next weekend.
It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Can't wait to
Thank
ride
you,
with
everyone. Very good.